Friends, the topic of presentation is marine fisheries development in India. As an introduction, we know fisheries development has progressed considerably since World War II, and the estimates of world marine capture fisheries production was 84.2 million metric tons in the year 2005 as per FAO statistics of 2006. While in the past, fisheries resources so far exceeded the human capacity to exploit them, since the last 2 decades, the technological changes have paved the way for a situation where increasing annual catches of fish is no longer a simple matter of increasing fishing effort. The rate of increase in fish production is increasingly becoming difficult to maintain as a consequence of many of the stocks having reached or even exceeded the limits of sustainable exploitation. Fish is a significant contributor to the livelihood, nutritional, trade and economic security of the countries, and hence concerns are being voiced about the rational development and management of fisheries, where new terminologies like sustainable development and responsible fishing, etc., are currently being widely used. When we look into the phases of fisheries development, we can see there are 4 distinct phases. Firstly, there is an initial phase of slow development characterized by the absence of any major fisheries or only traditional fishery. Followed by there is a steady phase with significant increase in catch rate and production. Thirdly, there is an overdevelopment phase characterized by the declining catches and catch rates. Finally, there is a management phase arising out of the above developments and aimed at regulating fishing and arresting the decline. When we look into the objectives of fisheries development, a couple of objectives. Among it, the first one is to increase the export of fish and fish products. The second objective is to increase the supply of fish to domestic markets. Third objective is to increase the level of fishermen's income. And fourth, obviously, is to provide new employment opportunities in the fisheries sector. And finally, the final objective, you can say it is holistic, to sustain fishery. When we look into the fisheries development under different plan periods, intensive fishery resource surveys in the Indian EEZ and resource assessment, optimum exploitation of the marine resources using a judicious mix of the traditional country boats, mechanized boats, and deep sea fishing vessels can be observed. Adequate landing or berthing facilities by the construction of major and minor fishing harbors. Intensifying the development is in processing, storage, and transportation sectors. Improving marketing of fish or fishery products through cooperative sector, tapping the vast potential for export of the marine products. When we look into the status of marine fisheries in India, the marine fisheries play a significant role in the socio-economic development of India, contributing to food or nutritional security and employment opportunities besides being a source of livelihood to many marginalized, poor coastal fisherfolk. Prior to and immediately after independence, the marine fishing activity was mainly close to the shore and at subsistence levels, only with indigenous crafts employing the traditional gears such as cast nets, small seines and traps. During 2010-11, the number of people whose major occupation in marine fishing was 1.40 million. In fishery-related activities, it was 1.5 million. And in the tertiary sector, that is essentially marketing, only about 0.1 million. Today, India is one among the top 10 fish-producing countries in the world. And in 2010-11, contributing over 4%, that is about 8.2 million tons of the total world fish production, that is 145 million tons. In fisheries sector in India, it contributes 1.4% of the total national gross domestic product, GDP, and 4.5% of the agriculture GDP, besides providing employment and income to over 5 million fishers and fish farmers. The marine fisheries sector in the country contributes about 40% of the total fish production. The share of Indian seafoods in the world market has shown an increasing trend over the years since its inception in 1950s, with a 21% increase during 2000-2005. Seafood exports during 2011-12 were 8,60,000 metric tons, worth rupees 16,500 crores. Speaking the resources, the Indian EEZ declared in 1976 with a total 200 nautical miles boundary has a total area of 2.02 million square kilometer. The availability and distribution pattern of marine fishery resources in the Indian EEZ are typical of tropical waters with a large variety of species, nearly 1,570 species of finfishes and about 1,000 species of shellfishes coexisting in the same ground. Of this, over 200 are commercially important and include the pelagic groups such as sardines, anchovies, mackerel, carangids, bombay duck, ribbon fishes, sharks, seerfish, tunas, demersal finfish groups, rays, croakers, seanids, perches, silver bellies, lizard fishes, catfish, crustaceans, including the pinnate and non-pinnate shrimps, crabs and lobsters, and cephalopods consisting of squids and curtlefishes. Sustainable management of Indian marine fisheries. Actually, the sustainable development is a globally accepted goal for the natural resource management, identified at United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, UNCED, in 1992. The basic principle that governs sustainable development of fisheries is that it must be conducted in a manner that doesn't lead to overfishing, or for those stocks that are overfished, the fishery must be conducted such that there is a high degree of probability the stocks will recover, and also fishing operations should be managed to minimize their impact on the structure, productivity, function, and the biological diversity of the ecosystem. The marine fish production has reached a plateau since 1989, which is because the fishing effort, mainly trawl-based, has increased considerably and is concentrated in the 0 to 100 meter depth zone, leading to excess pressure in the coastal waters. Indian fisheries have recently been facing a serious crisis of unsustainable development. As in many developing countries, there are problems of overfishing, inter or intra-sectoral conflict, low incomes, and high degrees of poverty, which creates difficulties in shifting to a limited access system from the existing open access system. Sustainability concerns of Indian fisheries can be listed as multi-gear, multi-species, open access fisheries. Excess fishing effort or overcapitalization, especially in the coastal areas up to about 50 meter depth zone. Decrease in area available in the sea per active fisherman and boat for conducting fishing operations. Conflicts among the different categories of fishermen, particularly between the artisanal and mechanized groups of fishermen. Limited scope for increase in the fish production from the inshore fisheries, as most have reached maximum sustainable yield levels. Declining trend in the catch and catch rates of commercially exploited stocks. Discards or indiscriminate exploitation of juveniles of many commercially important species due to use of small mesh nets. Damage to the benthos and benthic ecosystem by continuous sweeping of the same ground by shrimp trawlers. Ecosystem degradation, pollution, increased bottom trawling effort in the coastal areas, mangrove destruction, etc., affecting the productivity of the carrying capacity. Conflicts between those engaged in coastal artisanal fishing and coastal aquaculture. Absence of an informed management regime and a limited fishery management system, that is participatory fishery management, due to the resistance of imposition of the fishery regulations and lack of political will. Inefficient internal marketing system. Impacts of climate change on fishery resources already under high fishing pressure. Future strategies for Indian marine fisheries development. Let's have a look into it. Prospects for further development and expansion of fisheries include the unexploited component of the exploited stocks. Example, offshore tuna fishing, unutilized resources which have not much market value at present, but can be utilized after suitable conversion into value-added products. Example, certain deep sea resources such as black ruff, central offer species, bullseye, priacantha species, driftfish, Arenormus species, green eye, Chlorothalmus species, etc. and mariculture like mussels, oyster, finfish, seaweed, etc. Along with this, development and or improvements in the infrastructure facilities, operational efficiency and quality control at all stages like harvesting, mariculture, processing and marketing, reduction of wastage and value addition of fishery products are vital while planning the development of fisheries. Presently, Indian seafood exports trade is mainly in the commodity or bulk packing aimed at processors of the importing countries who reprocess it and sell it under their label. Today, the demand is for hygienic, nutritious and attractively packed ready to eat or ready to cook convenience products. Hence, there is tremendous scope for increasing export earnings through value addition to these bulk processed items as many other developing countries are doing. Some of these products include battered and breaded products, fish fingers, individual quick frozen, we call it as IQF products, sushi, shrimp based or sashimi or tuna products. For this, a serious thought to develop adequate technologies for value addition and marketing strategies for new products, new markets, etc. is required. There is also a good market for ornamental fish and live fish for which good harvesting practices and development of mariculture technologies are required. Proper quality assurance, suitable target markets for high-end products and live seafood trade require focused attention which can contribute significantly to fisheries development. The World Trade Organization WTO regime was supposed to facilitate a level playing field for increasing trade of both developing and developed countries. However, it has often been observed that tariffs in advanced countries on imports from the developing countries are much higher than those from other advanced countries. In the light of such experience, we should focus on diversification of mariculture from shrimp to other exportable items of finfish and shellfish. In addition, introduction of a regulated oceanic tuna fishing fleet which focuses on the high-end products like sashimi tuna and tuna loins, quality assurance at landing, transporting and processing points, voluntary adoption of appropriate international standards by the industry, promotion of eco-labeling, organic farming and promoting a common trade brand for Indian seafood products through a logo will also go a long way in promoting marine fisheries development in India. Although the Indian fish processing trade is mostly export oriented, prospects for domestic fish market is bright as recent economic growth of the country is reflecting in larger disposable incomes and purchasing capacity of the people for items such as high quality fresh or processed marine fish. A major concern is that appropriate quality standards for the fish and fishery products sold in the domestic market are generally lacking, and there is an urgent need to set up standards for the same. This is a brief account of marine fisheries development in India. If I conclude the session, we discussed about development of marine fisheries. We learned the objectives, different phases of development in India, contribution to the GDP, etc. I hope you all understood about the topic well. If you have any further queries, kindly visit the Manage website or reading material provided to you by the Manage. Thank you so much.